it is meant for you and for the development of your personality. All right. So make sure that everybody, whosoever are attending, please do give listen to the instruction. Say, Ananta, if you say, ma'am, I'm sending, that shows that you are not fast, you are not quick. So you have to really be very fast, be vigilant, and be quick enough. All right. Rest others, I'll appreciate if you can really work out on your skills of understanding, learning, and doing the things. All right. So make sure that. So in today's class, we are going to discuss about the next two parts of report writing. If you remember, very quickly, let us reiterate what we have done when we were discussing about the report writing. Initially, we identified what do we understand by the term report, when reports are written, what are the different types of reports that one can write, what are the essentials that we have to really keep in our mind whenever we are talking about good report writing, followed by the structure that we have to follow whenever we write report in a proper way, followed by how do we find the information, because when we talk about information, information is in huge quantity. The quantity in which the information is available is humongous. So we should identify what is very important. Now, after finding the important information, you have to evaluate whether that is suitable as per the requirement of my report. Do I have the information or not? After evaluating, after cutting it short, what is required, what is not required. Even from the evaluated report, you cannot copy it as it is, right? You have to process it. What is required, what to be included in your report, that part, that pieces, that information can be collected from the different source. Also remember, as stated earlier, that whenever you are presenting any fact, if you are presenting any figure, if you are presenting any information, it should be from authentic resources. It should be from authentic source. You should remember this. In today's class, we are going to discuss about data collection. Now, when we talk about data collection, we should remember when we write report is written based on the event that had happened in the past, or probably the event which is still going on. Now, when we are talking about any event, it could be related to some function, could be related to some seminar, could be related to certain conferences, could be related to certain programs, or could be related to some fest or something like that, wherein the function is still going on, the activity is still going on, the event is still going on. You're collecting information. As stated very clearly, you should keep in your mind, only one single viewpoint will not be accepted. Whenever we talk about report, we go for multiple viewpoints. We expect that people should come with their own opinion, and we should give equal importance to their opinion too. So when we talk about report writing, giving equal importance to even other viewpoint, that is alternative viewpoint should be just. How can we check whether people have alternative viewpoint unless and until if we don't have the data, if we are not collecting the data? So therefore, when we talk about report, when we talk about methodology, yesterday we have studied there are two different types of methodology. Can I get quickly in the chat box? What are the two methodologies that we have discussed? One will be in numbers, other will be in words. What do we call the information that is presenting or representing the numerical data? Very good, Ananta. Yes, beta, it is qualitative and quantitative. Thank you, Anshuman. Thanks, Shantanu. Shantanu, it's not quantity, beta, quantitative and qualitative. Right, Pintu? Right, Tanya? What about the rest? I should get answer from everyone quickly. At least for understanding what we should do as a student. If we really want to learn, we should learn it by writing. All right, so keep this in your mind, dear. Whenever we talk about presenting the information that we are going to present will be a combination. It will be a mix of qualitative and quantitative. Whenever we say qualitative, that means we are talking about the quality of the information. What is the information that we are furnishing, how relevant it is. And when we talk about quantities, it always talks about the number. So be it qualitative or quantitative, you have to gather information, you have to collect the information, isn't it? And when we talk about collecting information, when we are talking about gathering information, when we are talking about pooling the information, it can be done from two different sources. As you can see on the shared slide, it can be done either from the primary sources or the secondary sources. Let us understand about secondary sources, because this is easy to obtain, it is easy to gain. Why? Because it is obtained from the different sources which are available, wherein you may have to get the permission to access. Sometimes whenever we are talking about the government publication, many of the government publications are free to use, but at, at times you have to get the permission from the person whosoever is having the authority or owning it. So you should remember, the secondary documents are those documents which are already published and shared either on websites or the different portals or the places, probably the library. You can find in the archive, the different libraries will have different archives, or even the organizations will have archive wherein they store all the past or previous data or the documents. So you can get the information from the government publication, you can get the information from the research which was done earlier, you can get the information from the census. Say, for example, when we talk about the population, if I'm trying to compare the population of Bihar versus India. Now, the total population of India is 1.3 billion, whereas when we talk about our Bihar, it is 124 million. So, what percentage, what ratio, that could be easily identified. And then we are talking about the last census. We are not talking about the present census. You all know, after a decade, that is, in the span of 10 years, the population increases, and after every 10 years, the government of India, it gets its population counted, which is called as population census. So through population census, you will come to know about the increase in the population, the density increase in the population in certain areas. If there are beautiful cities, if there are well-developed places, if there are well-developed villages, you will see there the population is living in huge number. The density of the population is very high. But if there are places where the basic facilities are nil, for example, no infrastructure. When we talk about no infrastructure, no school, no hospital, no facilities, no basic facilities of electricity, water, or even the roads are not well connected, then the population that lives or likes to live in that particular place would be very less. So we should keep in our mind whenever we are talking about census. Census will give us lots of information, right? So we can get the information about the different places from census. Sometimes people will have personal records. Even from personal records, you can get the information. You can get the information from the histories of the people, from the service record of the people. These all are available directly or indirectly from the different organization. You need not go from one person to the other person. So for example, when I say, what is the total population of Bihar? You will not go to each and everybody. You will not count by saying that, ma'am, give me 1 year time. I'm going to count and let you know what is the total population of Bihar. Immediately, you are going to Google it. You will find out what is the total population of Bihar, and instantly you are going to give me the answer. Let me see how many of you are really very quick in Googling and then giving me the answer. Can I know the population of, from the students of BBA, from the students of BBA, what is the total population of Uttar Pradesh? From the students of BBA, what is the total population of Uttar Pradesh? And from the students of BCA, from the students of BCA, what is the total population of Karnataka? Quickly, Karnataka. So very true. Yes, it is 20.42 crores. Excellent. All right. And then what about my BCA? Okay, 6.41 crores. Excellent, excellent. So this is what you are doing, right? What did you do, dear? Did you go to those places, Sandeep Kumar? I want you to check it out once again. Is that 67 million? Okay, just recheck, dear, recheck, because I am finding two different information, 6.4 and 6.7. So therefore, I will appreciate if you can really check that. So once when we are talking about the sources, you can see immediately, what did you do? You have immediately found out, isn't it, dear, that ma'am is asking about the population of Karnataka, you have Googled it and you gave me the information. Such kind of information that you collect from already available sources is called as secondary. Could you all like get the example of secondary, dear? If you could understand what is secondary data, and if you are now understanding how to collect secondary data, type Y. Yes, I understood. Y in the chat box if you know what is secondary and how to collect secondary data. Right? So whenever we talk about secondary data, thank you. Thanks, Anshuman, for giving me that clarity, dear. So whenever we are talking about secondary data are those which we collect from some other sources. All right. Now moving to the primary data. Whenever we are talking about collection of information and from primary sources, there are three different ways. Maybe 5 questions or 10 questions. The same 10 questions we will share with the different people. What we do is we draft, we frame some set of questions, and the same questions, what we do, we give it or we share it to the different people. Whenever there are questions, they will give you the answer according to their understanding. This is a kind of primary source of collection of data. Could you all understand here? Say, for example, if I ask you all to find what is the favorite food of the people of Bihar, or the favorite sweet of Bihar, can I do this? Can I get the answer to this question? This is my question. I have shared some questions to you all on email. What can I do? I can collect the data. I can get the information. Yes, generally litti chokha is known, and jalebi, yes, of course, in sweet. Whenever we talk, we have seen on 15th August and 26th January, everywhere it is jalebi that is considered as the special sweet or the favorite sweet of the people of Bihar. So you should keep this in your mind that questionnaires are again one of the best sources, but it is primary. The next is interview. Right now, I can conduct an interview of one of the student and then I can collect the data, isn't it? Now, there are two ways of asking questions. I am explaining you the two different ways. Even during your interview process, you should remember this: structured, unstructured. What do we understand by structured interview? Same questions will be asked to all the candidate. Similar questions, when it is asked to all the different candidates, it is called as structured interview. When based on the interest, based on the experience, based on the information that is given by the candidate in his or her resume or CV, when different questions are asked, then it is called as unstructured. Now, if you could really understand quickly in the chat box, same questions asked by the interviewer is called as dash interview. Quickly, what kind of interview will it be called as? If the interviewer is asking same kind of question, same set of question to everyone, same set of question, it is called as structure. Now, if we ask different question to different candidates, then it is called as dash. What would be the word that you're going to fill it up? Excellent. It is unstructured. Now, interview, you need to understand here, whenever we talk about interview, it's a time taking process, isn't it? You may have to travel from one place to another place. In one day, you can collect very simple or close-ended question wherein the answers would be only yes or no. Then you can collect data from 100 or 120. But don't you think that it is time-consuming, very costly affair, isn't it? And pooling the information is too difficult. Imagine if you conduct interview from 100 people, from 100 people, 100 questions. How are you going to collect the information? How are you going to pool the information? How are you going to filter it? How will you evaluate and how are you going to process it? So keeping these in mind, interviews, they are very, very good, excellent, because you get like first hand information, but it's too costly, and at the same time it will be time consuming. Similarly, the third kind of primary sources is observation. How many of you have observed people playing Holi? How many of you have observed people drawing Rangoli? Diwali is there are hardly 5 days left for Diwali, and on fifth day we all would be celebrating Diwali. So on Saturday or even on Choti Diwali on 13th, that is Friday, when you celebrate this festival, you must have seen boys and girls, they decorate their house with buntings, with lights, as well as with rangoli. And you must have seen that there are certain boys and girls who like drawing rangoli. And there are certain boys and girls who enjoy watching others drawing rangoli, isn't it? But they both are happy. Even the one who is participating, they are equally happy when compared to the person who is not drawing. You must have seen your mother and your father. They don't come and they don't start drawing, but still they are equally happy like you. So observation, wherein even the participants will be very happy and excited, even the non-participants will be very happy and excited. So even this is a way of collecting the information. So do you feel happy when you see your sisters or your brothers drawing rangoli at your home? Yes. How do you feel? Do you feel excited? Do you feel happy? Or do you also participate? Do you say that let me fill the colors, let me fill the different colors? I'll take blue, you take red, the other person takes green, isn't it? So you feel so joyful, you feel so excited whenever you are participating. Sometimes you will see, even if you're not participating, yet you get the same kind of happiness, isn't it? Why? Because you feel very excited. You're very joyful, isn't it? So these are the different methods of collecting data. So is this concept clear? Primary sources, it is very necessary. Sometimes the information that is given in secondary, we cannot challenge. But here in primary sources, we know that whatever information that we are sharing is absolutely correct. But it is time consuming, very costly, and data that you're going to collect, we have to keep it safely. Otherwise, if we lose the information, we may have to once again start the process from the very beginning. So did I clear your understanding related to the different methods of data collection? And do you all know now what is the difference between primary sources and secondary sources? If you could understand, type I, and if you could not understand anything, type D, and then please add what you could not understand so that I'll explain it once again. So Abhishek, what is it that you could not understand here? What is the doubt that you are having? Abhishek Kumar Rajak. Sahil, what is the doubt? Observations, as Anshuman have stated here, observation is where sometimes you participate. What do we understand by participating? Wherein you are into that particular activity. Let me explain it with a small example. Say you all have come to ISM, the Freshers' Day party is organized. Your friend is participating in the ramp show to get the title of Mr. Fresher, and you are not participating. All right. And all of a sudden, when the results are announced, your friend is titled or your friend is awarded with the first prize and with the title of Mr. Fresher. You did not participate. It was your friend who was participating. But you are equally happy. And if somebody says, or if somebody asks you, what is a freshers party? What are the important glimpses that you can remember, or what things do you remember or recall when you are talking about the freshers party? Though you did not participate, still you can talk about each and every event, isn't it, dear? So that is called as non-participant. Participant, where people are into that activity. Say for example, when your mother is cooking food, but the food is eaten by all of us, you were non-participant, but when feedback of the food is given, it's not only your mother who has cooked the food will give the feedback, even the other people who did not participate in cooking, still they'll give the feedback. Could you understand what is participant and non-participant? Right? Quickly, so that I can move ahead with other question that was asked. Anshuman, did I clear your doubt here when I talk about observation? Observations can be done when you are participating as well as when you are not participating. Say, for example, a debate competition is going on, and in the debate you are participating, and in some competitions you are not participating. In both the ways you gain knowledge. Still you will come to know what are the pros, what are the cons, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages. Even if you participate, you will gain the knowledge. Even without participating, you are going to gain the knowledge. All right, dear. So because we cannot challenge primary sources, because you have all the relevant data with you. So for example, if you go to a person to conduct an interview, you will have the name, you will have his address, you will have the timing, you will have all the question, the recording of the interview, everything will be there. So you cannot expect anything which is called as mistake. Even in observation, you will have the recording of everything. Even when you are asking questionnaire, emailed questionnaire, the people who have answered, you will have the proof, you will have the record in email. But whereas when we talk about the secondary sources, how old it is, who has posted it, what is the background of the person who had posted it, these informations are tough to gather. All right. So therefore, we need to identify that whenever we are talking about primary sources, it is very, very tough. I'm not saying it is not possible, but yes, indeed, whenever we are trying to gather information, say for example, if I talk about a student, like Abhishek, if I ask you or if I give you an assignment, find out whether the students of USA and Europe, did they suffer or did they find any change after COVID-19 in their classroom? What are you going to do? Are you going to conduct an interview? Yes, you will conduct an interview. Are you going to email them the questionnaire? Yes, you can do this. You cannot observe anyways, right? But still you can follow these two, that is interviewing and questionnaire. But for this, you should have their list of name, email IDs, and the contact details, isn't it? At least you should have a friend on your FB who can answer your question. But if you are talking about secondary sources, Google it immediately. What was the impact of education in Europe? What was the impact of education in USA? You will get it instantly, isn't it, dear? But how will we come to know whether it is authentic or unauthentic? Authentic means what is right. All right. Unauthentic is what is not relevant and from the right sources. So if it is from the right sources, from the right people, then we call it as authentic. So did I clear your doubt here? Is this clear to each and everybody, whosoever is attending this class? Now the next question, meanwhile, to get the response from Abhishek Kumar Rajak, I want a response from your side. Did I clear your doubt, Beta? So that I can move to the next question. Now, I hope Ananta, while explaining to Mr. Abhishek Kumar Rajak, I have once again shared or explained what is questionnaire. Set of questions that you ask to the different people. I don't know how many of you have visited malls, but once when you enter mall, Beta, there can be different people who will come to you and who will ask different questions. Say, for example, what is your name? Where do you stay? Do you own a bike? What is the kind of bike do you own? If you go to college, what is the name of the college? So people will ask different questions to get the information, to collect the information. That is called as questionnaire. Client histories means a person who is not existing now in the current position, but still you can come to know about what they have done in the past. That is called as client history. Say, for example, how many of you have seen Mahatma Gandhi ji? How many of you have seen Rabindranath Tagore? How many of you have seen like Bill Gates? All right. How many of you have seen Bill Gates? How many of you have seen Mark Zuckerberg? Did you all meet these personalities in person? Do you all know them in person? Yes or no? Quickly. Yes? Do you all know them? But still, do you know who they are? Do you know who they are? At least you don't know who Mahatma Gandhi is? You don't know who Mark Zuckerberg is? Do you know them? How do you know them? How do you know about these personalities? How? How? From where did you get the information? From where did you get the information? From where did you get the information? You must have heard about them in newspapers, book, even on internet. Yes, through the different social media, very good. Newspaper, internet, informations which are there, excellent, Anshuman. Secondary sources like book, internet, magazines, etc. Isn't it, dear? So client history can also be identified. You can know about the history, like when did Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook, when he had founded it, what was the total strength, how many people joined, right now how many people are there. So the history about the client can be easily uh, collected whenever we want to collect from the secondary sources. So did I clear your doubt, Sahil, related to client history? Yes. So the next question, bit of questionnaire and survey. Surveys are same, questionnaire is again same here. Survey is the mode, the process through which you can collect the information. All right. So whenever we are talking about the different things, please remember, whenever we are talking about collection of data, we have to first identify, will I collect the data through primary sources or through secondary sources. Say for example, if I am giving you a project, all right, a project is given by Neeru ma'am to the students to submit a detailed report on online classes conducted by ISM Patna. Online classes conducted by ISM Patna. Are you going to collect primary data or will you try to collect the data through secondary sources? Quickly in the chat box, I want to know your answer, your response. Are you going to collect the information from primary or secondary? Why Pinto, why do you think secondary is right? Why Tanya, why do you think secondary is right? And why Sahil, do you think primary is right? Yes. If I want information quickly, what is the right source? Quick information. For quick information, what would be the right source? For quick, authentic information, what would be the right source? S or P? S is for secondary, P is for primary. S or P? Quickly. Yes, S. And primary, very difficult to obtain here, because then you may have to contact maybe 100 students of ISM. You may not have everybody's contact number. You may not even have everybody's email address. So you, to gather the primary source, you should have their contact numbers, you should have email IDs, you should have the information so that you can reach to them. But when we talk about secondary, it is easy to collect, right? So you should keep this in your mind. I'm not saying that primary is good. I'm not even saying secondary is good. Sometimes primary is required. Sometimes secondary is required. When you have time, when you have money, when the government gives costing, say for example, population census. How do we collect the population census? Do we go and collect it from door to door? Yes or no? Yes. They collect primary sources. The collection of the process, the collection of the information is through interviewing. They'll come to one house, they'll inquire from the family member. Why they are doing it? Because it is very important, it is required. Though it is time consuming, though the process is time consuming, still they will go with primary source because they want to check the authenticity. Now similarly, once when the data is collected, now what is the total GDP of our nation? Are you going to go to each and every house? Will you find out from everybody what is the national income, what is the per capita income, what is the gross domestic product? Are you going to do this, right? Or will you collect it from secondary source? Will that be S or P if you want to know about the per capita income? And what is total per capita income? Total income divided by the total strength of the family, all right? The number of people living in that family. So of course you are going to go with secondary data, isn't it? So please understand and keep this in your mind. I am not saying that primary sources are only very good. We should remember, based on the time, based on the money that we have, based on the cost that we are going to incur or that we are going to spend, we should identify, should I go with primary sources or should I go with secondary sources? Is this clear with everyone? Both are authentic. Sometimes both will become unauthentic. Say, for example, you have collected primary source, but you did not gather it, you did not collect it, you did not keep it, you did not save it in a proper way. What is going to happen? At the end, you are going to lose it. And then who is going to check the authenticity? Even if they check the authenticity, they'll not get the relevant information from your side. So collecting information is very important, and you have to really check these sources. Is this clear with everyone? I'll appreciate if you can quickly mark your attendance on this link that I'm going to share on the chat box so that you can get your attendance mark. Bitter, this is not the types of interview. We are going to learn the types of interview when we are doing the interview preparation. These are related to questions. Aradhana, don't get confused. These are related to the questions that you're going to ask. All right. The questions that you ask to the different people could be structured or unstructured. What I mean by structured are those where we ask same kind of questions. And whenever we are talking about unstructured, based on the person, we may tweak, we may change the different question. So whenever you are talking about newspaper, newspaper is again a second resource. And whenever we are talking about newspaper, newspaper is again a second resource. Rajat, please remember, because it is not you who is going and collecting the report. Report is collected, the journalist who goes and collect. Semi-structured are those beta wherein few questions are from structured, few questions are from unstructured. All right. Say for example, if the interviewer is asking same kind of question like introduce yourself, can I come to know about your education, and then he changes the question with the so Abhishek, answering to your statement that you have mentioned here, whenever we talk about newspapers are always secondary, and we can rely upon them because the reporters whosoever are collecting, they are getting it published, and then but many times there are different layers where the information is getting filtered. So yes, it is secondary resource, and you can rely upon the newspaper, the information that is shared in the newspaper. Is this clear with everyone? So did I clear your doubt, Mr. Abhishek Kumar Rajak? So we have completed our topic, which is called as report writing. So in the next class that is scheduled for tomorrow, we are going to talk about presentation skills. We are going to discuss about presentation skills, because once when you are going to prepare the report, anyways you will have to present. All right. So we will learn what are the different skills that are required whenever we are talking about presentation. All right. Till then, don't forget to revise. I'll share the video link once again with you all. I'll appreciate if you can really watch your attendance